welcome food and fitness lover. I'm Chef Tina Martini, but you might know me as the Medicine Chef. Welcome to the Ageless Kitchen. Is pizza on your nutrition program? Guess what? Now it is. Today, we're going to make gluten-free pizza that everyone can enjoy. Do you need to be on a gluten-free program? And how do we know if we need to be on a gluten-free program? Well, these are things that we're going to tackle today while you visit me. So let's get cooking. I've got a pizza stone here. Do you have one in your kitchen, chefs? Remember, one of my goals is to help you think like a professional chef. It'll make your life much easier in your kitchen and get food on the table with great quality and in a timely manner. So I've got my pizza stone here, and we need to create that really hot pizza environment to get that beautiful puffy crust that we all love, the good Napolitano style pizza. And how do you do that with gluten-free? Well, heat is one of the best ways. So I've got my pizza stone here. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it into my preheated oven, and we wanna go at least 425, if not 450, or maybe 475. All right, so let's go ahead and preheat the stone now. So we're just gonna pop it in on our top rack, and we're gonna let that go. And then we need to do another thing. We need to get our pizza sauce ready, chef. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start the heat under my tomatoes. And we use whole tomatoes always. Do you know why? Because they are the best tomato off the vine. The manufacturer knows that those are the best, and so they keep them for the whole tomatoes. If you are choosing diced tomato or tomatoes that are already broken down, you may get an inferior product. So no matter what you're making, chefs, let's go ahead and start with the whole tomato. And remember, we want the label no BPA on our cans, especially if we're in our childbirthing years, because it really affects our fertility. So I've emptied a 28-ounce can into my saucepan here, and I'm gonna just whisk away some of the water, because I don't know about you, but I definitely don't want a soggy crust. So that brings me to the important part with our crust going back and forth between our two most important components. And you know what, chefs? We're the master multitaskers. All right, so what I've done is already made some dough here. And if you turn to page 64 in your book, you're gonna see the gluten-free pizza in The Delicious Medicine, The Healing Power of Food. You can go on over to Amazon and get your copy, and then you can cook along with me. So page 64, go ahead and open your book if you'd like to follow along. So we've got the gluten-free flour here. The one thing we do want to avoid is xanthan gum. And xanthan gum tends to be in most gluten-free things. This really disturbs the intestinal function. So if possible, chefs, try to get your gluten-free things without xanthan gum. So what am I going to do for structure, you might ask? Chia seeds to the rescue. Are you familiar with chia? Well, chia is perfectly balanced omega-3, 6, and 9. It's in perfect balance, brought to you by nature. We know the importance of good fats, don't we? So I've started with my gluten-free flour. Pick any brand that you like at your local market. I've added my bloomed chia. Now, what is bloomed chia? Well, it's just the gel after adding water to the chia seed. Remember, chefs, we never eat dry chia. It's very dangerous, very risky. It can get caught in the throat. All right, so we've bloomed our chia. I'm gonna go ahead and make up a fresh crust with you in just a moment, but I wanna show you the crust that I made 2 days ago. So we've got enough here for 3 pizzas. And what we wanna do is just look at the bubbling and all of the beautiful fermentation that has happened over the 2 days that we have let our crust sit. And so we've got that beautiful yeasty smell, and it's going to deliver that authentic flavor that we're looking for. So let's go ahead and get our unbleached parchment paper out. And the different thing with this crust is that you're actually going to roll it out instead of stretch it out. Remember, gluten is what gives that stretchy factor to our favorite pizza. And we don't have any gluten today. We're doing gluten-free. So let's go ahead and get our parchment out, and we'll put a little bit of our dough. And so just take as much as you'd like to work with. Let's just do a personal right now, just for ease. And remember, this dough freezes really well. And another thing you'll see in your book is that you can go ahead and press out your crust par bake them, so we just bake them about halfway and then cool them completely. Layer sheets of the unbleached parchment. Remember, chlorine is one of the leading causes of arterial sclerosis, or hardening of the arteries. So we want to avoid bleach if we're able. We definitely don't want it touching our food. So I've got the natural unbleached. I've got a good portion of dough here, and I'm just going to go ahead and press it out. It's got beautiful imported olive oil, and we know all of the good things about the olive oil, don't we, chef? So let's go ahead and put another little piece of parchment over. And we're just going to press that down, and now we're just going to roll like a pie dough. So we can just press with our rolling pin all the way out, or you can just do it with your hand, whichever you find easier. And then that way you can get the thickness to your desire. All right, so we can just move this back and forth. Remember, we always want to roll from the edge. I should actually put a damp towel down under this, but we can make it work just simply by pressing out from the center. And remember, with your pie crust and your cookie doughs, you always want to roll from the center as well. That's going to give us an even thickness. All right, so we're starting to look like pizza here, and I'm just going to use my pin. Doesn't have to be perfect, does it? As a matter of fact, I think it's better if it's not. All right, so I've got my crust here. Look how pretty that is, chefs. Oh, that looks great. I'm just going to go ahead and press a little edge out. And we'll work through that. So we've got all kinds of delicious medicine in here with our chia seeds, our olive oil. Remember, olive oil is loaded with polyphenols, and polyphenols are a group of antioxidants. They're not a single antioxidant. They're actually a family of antioxidants, and they're the number one phytonutrient to slow aging. So are any of us interested out there in remaining as ageless as possible? I know I am. All right, so we've got our crust pressed out to our desired thickness. We're going to go ahead and slide it onto our preheated stone, and then we'll finish up our sauce, chef. So come on to the oven with me, and let's go ahead and pop it in. Oh, it's going to be great. Pizza that's good for us. How could you not love that? All right, it looks like we've got good reduction happening. Now, what is the technique known as reduction, chefs? Now, reduction is one of my personal favorite chef techniques, and it's something that you can really intensify your flavor, create a really nice glaze, or something beautiful to sauce your plate and your meats with, or your roasted vegetables. And it doesn't take any oil or any thickeners. So it's just done over time and heat, and all we're doing is evaporating the water off and intensifying the flavor. All right, chef, it's time to add our herbs now. We want to get that heat to release all of those beautiful essential oils. You know, I think we forget that medicine came from herbs. So did you know that basil and oregano, things like cilantro, the leafy herbs, are said by Harvard School of Medicine to be the cure for ovarian cancer in the future? It's called apigenin, and it protects our ovaries and our hormone receptors. All right, so I've got the dry here because I want really intense flavor, and I almost double the herbs sometimes because I really love that herbaceous sauce, and it just highlights all the beautiful toppings that we're gonna put on. All right, so I put our oregano, basil, thyme, and you'll see your sauce recipe in your book. It's right there by the crust. And then I'm just gonna fold everything in or mix it up. And again, as we said before, we're working with the whole tomatoes, so we're getting the best premium tomatoes. Now let's get our boat motor out. The great Chef Emeril Lagasse, this is his favorite tool. Everybody knows Emeril, and this is what he calls the boat motor. It's actually an inversion blender, and you can go to Target or Walmart, any of your local retailers, and get one for about 25, 30 bucks. Makes your life easy, and you can blend right in the pan. So let's hold our cord back there. And then we're just going to start blending to work our herbs in and to break our tomatoes down. All right. Now we'll add just a little pinch of sweetener, and you could use a little honey. You could use the coconut palm sugar or any kind of sweetener that you like. I hope you're going with high mineral, low glycemic. And that's another thing I forgot to mention earlier, chefs. This is a really high mineral meal. And you know what we know? Every disease known to man can be traced back to a mineral deficiency. Well, we're going to eradicate all of that and get rid of all of that with this pizza. All right, so we're blending our tomatoes up. We're making a nice, thick, beautiful sauce. Again, we've whisked off all of the water through our what, chef? Reduction. That's right, our chefy technique of the day. All right, so I've got this pretty well blended up. I'm going to go ahead and continue to reduce it a little bit as our crust par bakes. All right, so what are we going to put on top? Well, how about some goat cheese? You could use the cashew cheese. We've got all kinds of great cheeses now from the vegan side of the store. So whatever you like, just use quality and finish it with a little bit of maybe some arugula dressed in olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and that just brings the whole family of delicious medicine together on your plate in a very delicious way. So we've got our sauce reduced, blitzed. We've got our herbs in to release the essential oils. Our crust, as I said, is par baking on our heated stone. We're going to move our finished dough over, all right? And this is what we're baking now in the oven. So let's you and I go ahead and make the crust from scratch, from the beginning, as it is in your book. All right, so I've got 3 cups of gluten-free flour here. Any flour will do. I've got some baking powder, and remember that you want to get the one that says non-aluminum baking powder. Aluminum is one of the leading contributors of Alzheimer's disease, so we definitely want to keep the aluminum out of our food. All right, I've got my bloomed chia, and then we're going to go ahead and use some gluten-free beer. Yeah, there is such a thing, and it's actually pretty good. So beer is the secret to the best pizza crust. Chefs don't use water. Why would we? Water has no flavor. So let's go ahead and just add a little bit in. Now you'll see on your recipe that it says 1/2 to 1 cup. And we really can't be sure because we don't know how much humidity is in your kitchen. We don't know if it's raining outside, and all these do affect the end result. So go ahead and just put in just about maybe 1/3 or 1/2 cup of your liquid at first, and that's going to be your warm liquid with your yeast. Now, I already got some organic instant yeast, so you don't have to bloom it if you don't want to. So we'll just open that up and put it right in the bowl. And it's instant yeast, so it's going to work whether we've bloomed it or not. Remember, blooming is just putting it in the warm liquid with a little bit of sugar. That feeds the yeast and brings the yeast back to life. But this is the instant yeast, so you don't need to go through that step. So it's really a great way to kind of speed the process of bread and pizza crust along. All right, so we've got all that in there. Let's add a little bit of our pink salt. And that's got the astaxanthin in it. And remember, astaxanthin is the pink in shrimp when it's cooked. It's crab, lobster, and it's also the pink salt. And the astaxanthin is like a garbage collector. They actually go through the bloodstream and remove any trash or toxins that are found in our bloodstream. So the pink in those foods, as well as the salt, is really picking up all the toxins for us. All right, so I've got that in there. And then we go ahead and we've got a little cornmeal here to put on our pizza stone. And that way it'll keep the pizza crust moving for us. Let's go ahead and get a wooden spoon to mix all this up. Now remember, chefs, you can use your stand mixer for this, but not everybody has a stand mixer, so I just wanted to show you how to do it by hand. All right, we can see that the crust is starting to come together. We need to get our olive oil, and I'm going to give you the info on this olive oil, chefs. This is from a friend of mine, Francesco in Assisi. And it's much higher in polyphenols. Remember what polyphenols are? We just talked about them. So this is much higher in polyphenols, and it's pressed without solvents. So I'm going to put the information up for you, and you can become friends with Francesco just as I am. All right, let's go ahead and put in just a couple tablespoons right now, and I'm just free pouring. You can go ahead and measure if you'd like, but I really like a lot of olive oil in my crust, and I think you will too. So don't be shy with the olive oil. All right, let's scrape down our sides because we don't want hard bits in our crust. And that's really important when you're working with breads or pastries of any kind, chefs. We definitely want to keep scraping down the side so that we don't get hard little bits in our finished product. Now we're back to our beer, and we're just going to pour in a little more of our gluten-free beer. And you don't have to use gluten-free, and you can use your regular all-purpose flour. It's just that so many people are doing the gluten-free program now, and many people have celiacs and actually need to be on a gluten-free program. So that way everyone can enjoy a really great, authentic tasting pizza. All right, so you see that our dough has come together now. Now remember, this isn't stretchy. It doesn't have gluten in it. So you're just going to cover this up, and we're going to use our microwave as a proofing box. Who do you know that has a proofing cabinet in their home? Nobody. So we're going to go ahead and put the microwave to a good use, because just between you and I, chefs, I don't like that thing behind me. So let's not cook our food in it. Let's use it for a proofing box to make great pizza. All right, so I'm just making sure that all the dry bits are incorporated. And I've got a damp towel in my microwave. All right, so this is looking good, and you can see that it's starting to pull away from the bowl. And even with our pie doughs and things of that nature, laminated doughs, if you're making any of those fancy French pastries, we want the dough to pull away. All right, so we've got a damp towel in our microwave. I'm just going to lay that out so I can set the bowl on top. I'm going to turn the microwave on 1 or 2 minutes, and I'm going to get that thing really steamy and really warm. Let's go ahead and put some plastic over our dough, and I'm going to drizzle a little bit more olive oil on top. All right, this is looking perfect, chefs. This is really looking perfect. And I'm just going to drizzle a little bit over the top. Can't have enough olive oil or too much olive oil, can we? All right, so I've gone about 1.5 minutes, and I can see that there's moisture on the inside of the door. I'm going to turn that off, cover it with my plastic wrap. You don't have to make contact with the dough. Just keep the moisture in. We're creating steam to activate our yeast, and that's going to give us that really nice crispy crust and that authentic taste. All right, so into the microwave we go really quick, nice and steamy and hot, and that's your proofing box. Just like that, you're raising your dough up to give you that beautiful airy crust. All right, let's go inside the oven and check what's happening with our crust. Oh, we're looking perfect. Let's go ahead and take it out, and we can sauce it and start building our pizza. And you can see how golden the crust has got. The edges are beautiful. Oh, it's almost pizza time. All right, and let's go ahead and take our beautiful herbaceous sauce. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of Francesco's balsamic. Did you know that balsamic was never designed to be in the kitchen? It was medicine originally. Do you know what it does? It increases the male virility. Yep, balsamic does all that. All right, so I'm just going to hit it with a little bit, a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon. So we've got more delicious medicine now. How much sauce do you like on your crust? So the Italians say that you should see the crust through the sauce, and remember to leave a little edge so everybody's got a handle to hold on to their pizza with. And we're just going to spread this out, and then let's crumble a little fresh goat cheese. Now, what do you know about goat milk? What do you know about goat cheese, chefs? Did you know that goat milk and goat cheese is A2 protein? A2 protein is anti-inflammatory. It's loaded with all kinds of digestive enzymes, and it's really much better for us than cow's milk. Cow's milk is A1 protein, and that's very inflammatory and it's very sugary. So go with your goat. It's going to be great for your health and great for your dishes. All right, so I've got some nice goat cheese here, just the dry, crumbly chev. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of that on. Now, if you've got your vegan friends in town and you're doing a big, nice plant-based party for them, and oh, we know the power of plants, don't we? What you can use is this brilliant invention by Miyoko's Creamery. I'm sure we're all familiar with the great work that Miyoko has done for the vegan world and the plant-based world. This is liquid mozzarella that actually bubbles and browns and really looks great on your food, just like fresh buffalo mozzarella. All right, so let's go ahead and pour some of this out. And you can just pour it into little puddles, for lack of a better word. And it's going to give you that authentic chew, that cheese pull. Really a brilliant product. Here's to the chefs in the R&B kitchen at Miyoko's Creamery. All right, and how about a little anthocyanins with your pizza? Are you into that? Sure. Nice, healthy vascular system. Remember, anything the color of blood actually purifies the blood. So our purple onions are not only the best eating onion as far as sweetness, but they also help our heart to be healthy, and they help the health of our vascular system. We'll just shave it really thin. Chefs, what's the most dangerous thing in the kitchen besides me? Well, it's a dull knife, isn't it? So we definitely want to make sure our knives are nice and sharp, and we also want to hold our knife properly. So pinch grip at the top, hold the blade, not the handle, and we're just going to shave with our super thin blade. Just park that tip and roll right through the onions. All right, we'll sprinkle just a little bit. We don't want much. We don't want to blow our diner's palate out with gobs of onion, but just a little bit. That's looking good. Back into the oven we go. So we've got our lignans, our omega-3s, our anthocyanins, our lycopene, our bioflavonoids, and some amino acids. I can't wait. What about you? Well, it's looking good inside the oven, chefs. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's smelling good too. That didn't take long, did it? All right. Well, there it is. There's our masterpiece. And then all you have to do is pick it up with your parchment paper and slide it right on to your cutting board. All right, so let's go ahead and run the knife through. Hear that? Nice and crispy. Oh, yeah. Oh, we did it, chefs. We really used the stone to the best of our ability, and it really gave us a great product. Let's go ahead and top it with our arugula now. Remember, arugula is called rocket because it's, again, another thing great for men's health. So you want that frisky man? Well, you go ahead and feed him this gluten-free pizza with a little bit of arugula on top. This increases blood flow to the pelvis. So we're going to just dress it with a little bit of Francesco's olive oil, a little bit of the balsamic vinegar. I'm going to use my hands because those are the best tools. Nice, clean hands. Cracked pepper and a little bit of salt. And we'll just toss that together lightly. Oh, I wish you could smell this, chefs. The aroma in the kitchen is just phenomenal. Well, we did it, chefs. We made a delicious gluten-free pizza that tastes like something that you would get in Italy. Beautiful and delicious with all the great stuff. I'm Chef Tina Martini, and I'll see you next time you're ready to get ageless in the Ageless Kitchen. Buon appetito.
Crispy.
All those extra herbs.
Yeah, the herbs.
What were the herbs?
Basil, oregano, and thyme.
So you know what I forgot? I forgot to put the red chili flakes in.
We'll do it next time.
That's all right.
Are you filming?
I hope it's rolling. But
The director's eating. Go stand next to Tina.
gluten-free.
Let's turn the lights off. It's hot in here now.